All right, guys. So one of the foremost questions I've heard of is, how do I identify a strong SNR level? How do I know this engulfing is strong? How do I know this SNR level is strong, is gonna hold? Okay, because a lot of times this is the reason why people fail to follow through storylines, the reason why you miss some trades, the reason why you're waiting for the reason why in a bearish storyline you're seeing buyers buying the market and you're confused. We are bearish. What's going on? Okay, so understanding strong SNR levels or what level is strong will help you. Okay, and let me just put strong SNR levels. So number one, for a strong SNR level, any of these rule applies. Okay, sometimes just a level having one of this rule would make the level a very strong level. So number one, a level that has equilibrium. Okay, equilibrium in the lower time frame. Number two, if there is MTF, if there is MTF, okay. Number three, a level that's broken structure. A level that broke structure. And then the ultimate one, guys, the last one is actually the ultimate one. Number four, a level that takes liquidity and breaks structure. Okay. I know depending on being an intraday trader, where you can get all these levels are daily, H4 and H1. Daily, H4, H1. So that's where you can get strong levels. Okay. So let's see examples. Example. Let's take this off. All right. See this guy right here. Okay. If you look at this level, almost looks like it's a daily level, right? Almost looks like a daily level, but I think I showed before how that price actually took this low, induced that low. Okay, the price induced this low on the futures chart. Let me show you that real quick. So on the futures chart, as you can see right here, see price took the low right here. And then price didn't take that low on your normal broker. See the evil they do to us. The evil these guys do to us. Okay. So what does that say? That tells us that this SNR level, this classic SNR level, is a strong SNR level. Why? Because it's a level that has broken structure. So remember, we have four criteria, and it can be any one of these ones. Okay. If it has equilibrium, it's more powerful than if there's MTF. Usually, MTF is just for refinement. But sometimes, if you get MTF with equilibrium, it's usually very good idea or forms a very good logic for price to actually use that. So this classic SNR level, extreme classic SNR level, broke structure. So when price gets back to that level, there's a high chance that we are going to see sales, crazy sales from that level. And what happens when we tapped? Easy. So we had first tap of the level. Oof. I hope I'm marking the right one. We sold, and then second tap after we induced this guy, and then still sold. Okay. And I know that made a lot of people think, oh, we're going to start going bearish on gold and all of that. But no, what mattered the most was the levels. So if you're focusing on the levels to levels, you'll be able to catch more trades, you'll be able to leave out, give space or be flexible with your idea or storyline. Okay, so we already established that that level is a very strong level. So again, what happens to this level? So why would price come to this hidden engulfing and buy from this hidden engulfing? From everywhere in the world to buy from. Why? This hidden engulfing is responsible for a break in structure where this one. This hidden engulfing took liquidity below this low. Can you see that? So it took liquidity, broke structure. Okay. So when price comes back to this classic hidden engulfing, what do you expect? You expect to buy. Oh, the news was bearish. We just tapped. We should continue to sell. No, you're wrong. Even if we would continue to sell, at the first glance, you get a decent tap from this guy. Why? Because it's a strong level. And it's true, you're right. And no matter how strong the level is, if price wants to break it, price would definitely break it. But what you want to see is when price comes, that initial bounce, you want to be a part of it. Okay. So it's now within your trading plan to decide if you want to hold the trade till it breaks the next high or whatever. So usually for me, I'll take partials, then wait to see what happens. If it breaks this, oh, I'm super happy. Okay. So the moment we have this break, again, off of this point, you're asking yourself the question, what level is strong enough to reject price? That's the basic question. What level is strong enough to reject price? Is a question I tell myself almost always. Okay. So what level is strong enough to reject price? So if I randomly, there are a lot of levels here. You can say, oh, we have classic, we have gap, 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 gap. We have breakout, 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 breakout. But why on earth the price had to come all this way to this level? Okay. Why? Why this zone? Okay. Now on H4, it's not very clear. So let's go to H1. What level is strong enough to reject price? And you see, when you see the anatomy of the structural levels or structural legs here, you would see that this low, right, took liquidity, broke structure, right? Took liquidity, broke structure. So what happens? Price would come, retrace into that same level, the same area, and then start to buy. It's not rocket science, guys. It's because price wants to buy, really. Not rocket science. So there are a lot of levels, but price would only use the level that fits into any of those rules, any of the four rules I mentioned. Is there MTF? Is there equilibrium? And is there a structural leg broken or structural high and low broken? The liquidity, has liquidity been taken? So on the H4 chart again, so let's see MTF examples or equilibrium examples, okay? So because MTF is so good, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. MTF is so good. So let's see example with this guy. So this is the gap level. Hope you all agree with me on the H4. So let's see H1. Do we have equilibrium or do we have MTF? Right here we have equilibrium. Okay, so price is at an exact level on the H1, just like it is on the H4. So that's equilibrium. When you mark a level on the H4 and when you drop down to a lower time frame and you still have another level marked without you marking it. Something like that. So you have gap level on the H4 coincide with, I don't have to mark MTF in this scenario. Why? Because we have a strong H1 rejection with engulfing. Okay. See, this is a rejection candle, this candle, and this is a very strong engulfing. So if you were watching at all, by all means, you would know that this level is going to hold. It's going to hold price. Why? It's a strong level. So, like I said, price can decide to break this after, but this initial bounce is necessary for you to be a part of it. Okay, it's necessary for you to be a part of it. Okay, so that's example of equilibrium. So let's see another example. Back to H4. So usually for equilibrium and MTF, for MTF, I usually consider two time frames if I'm coming from the daily chart. For the H4, I consider two time frames, that's H1 and M15. But for H1, I only consider M15 MTF. Okay. For H1, I only consider M15 MTF. For H4, you can go to H1, M15 for MTF. For daily, you can go to H4, H1 for MTF. Okay, so let's see example of MTF. Let's see. I think this place should have an MTF, this level. Okay, guys, this level should have an MTF. So let's see H4 on the H1, sorry. This is H4, so let's see H1. Okay, you see that? Oh, not the perfect one. Oh, it is almost the perfect one. So MTF would be the closest SNR level to this level. Or by all means, you could say this level is the closest. And you could also argue that this level is the closest. Okay. So price taps, boof, and then start to drop. If you're a fan of trend line, see, it's a beautiful trend line here. Confluence your trade, taps, and then start to drop. Okay. So that's MTF. Also, if you're a fan of trend line, you could have picked this conference right here for the second buy, for the second tap, because engulfing, right? This is an engulfing, but we have to go to lower time frame to see it actually. Okay, so yeah, another one or another way you could pick the sell or this buy from after that trend line is this trend line. Okay, so this tap, and then final tap. Okay. So trend line will just be conference. I see trend line as a vibe. It's just a vibe. Just a vibe. Just a vibe. I use it when I want, and it's just for vibes. You just want to vibe with what the market is doing at the time, and then you get conference like that. Okay. So another example for H4 or H1 rather. So if you have this one where the Friday buy started from, crazy buys. Now, why is this level strong? You can ask me, why did price come all the way to this level to buy? Remember, one of the criteria we say for strong levels is they must have broken structure. Okay, so this engulfing again is a rejection engulfing, say rejection and bull candle. Rejection, bearish rejection, and bullish candle. That's they're usually very strong engulfings. Okay, so price come all the way, taps, and then starts to buy. More reason would be on M15 if we get MTF. So let's see M15 MTF. And also on M15, there was actually a gap of liquidity before the break of structure. As you can see, easy peasy. This is our level. So we took these guys here, took them out, we broke. And again, broke the all mark. So when we come back, this level, def will be your level. So classically here, we don't actually have MTF. What we have is equilibrium. You see, this is a broken gap level that price comes and then tap and the buy started. Okay. So MTF, equilibrium, structure, liquidity, these four things would guide you in how you pick your levels. MTF, equilibrium, structure, liquidity. MTF, equilibrium, structure, liquidity. Okay, so MTF, equilibrium, structure, liquidity. Never forget, it should be a song. When you're looking for a level to buy from, oh, this gap level has a broken structure, has it taken liquidity? Okay, what has happened? What happened before this gap level got formed? Or what time frame am I coming from? So more often than not, your H4 and daily levels, they're usually very strong. Okay, what makes H1 level strong or much more stronger is structure and liquidity. Okay, so that's what make H1 level much more stronger, and that's why you see price did not react from this guy. Yeah, this is just on the H4. Let's break this down a bit. Last, this is going to be the last one. So I know a lot of people at this level marked for sales, and then probably got an initial sell right here, and then price took you out, and then you're wondering what's going on. Why did price have to come all the way? This is just weak, right? Oh, there's nothing in the week. No, you're wrong. There is money in the week. There is money in the week. So let's see. So whenever you see things like this, you have to drop down to lower time frame to see if there are still strong zones, depending on liquidity, structure, on lower time frames. Okay, so sorry, network is buffering. Well. Okay, we're almost done. As you can see, H1 not in. So finally M15. Our idea is to find where this cell actually came from. Okay, now you can see M15, money in the week. There's money in the week. I don't want to bore you guys by taking you to the M1. Okay, I don't want to bore you guys. But as you can see, right, price stops, gives an engulfing buy. Sorry, gives an engulfing sell rather, another engulfing sell, and another engulfing sell. So you could pick the sell right there before the news, and then price dropped. Crazy drop, actually, very crazy drop. Okay, so what determines why you pick a level is all dependent on four things: multiple time frame, MTF, equilibrium, structure, and liquidity. MTF, equilibrium, structure, liquidity. Okay, so when you add all of these things into your arsenal, you'll be able to pick strong levels more. Okay, and then there are times that it's going to give you the sources, additional source. Most times when price is trending, it's always the M15 and H1 levels that price uses. So for example, in this scenario, price is trending all the way here. You see, we broke out, price taps, continued. Okay. Again, price, I might add the level mark actually, but price didn't come here. But you see, when we go to the M15, so then M15 level that was used. Okay. The same one, price came. Okay. Tapped, continued. But what would make you pick any of these H1 levels? Because they're not higher time frame, they're not H4. It's not H4. These levels are not H4, they're not daily. There's H1 levels, and you're able to frame your setup from these guys. It's because of how strong you think they are. Because of how strong you think they are. So let's see M15, there's anything giving them out. Just to reinforce what we've said, MTF, equilibrium, and also liquidity. Okay. So this is the first word. This is just classic break and retest. As you can see, this candle took out the low, and then after this break, so when price comes, you can actually pick the buy all from this level. Okay, again, another new level. As you can see, this guy had the initial sell, took this guy out, broke structure. So when price came, easy buy from that level. Okay, another example. This one, beautiful example. I think this was yesterday's best trade, right? Okay, now see this beautiful guy right here. So what happens? We have this high formed and price came, took the low. So we had this low as a low that taking liquidity above this level. And what did he do? Broke structure. So when price came, just induce that same low, and then the buys continued. Okay. So that is how you can be able to frame your setups. You can still frame your setups in a more reliable pattern, in a more reliable way. Because when price gets to any of the strong levels you have anticipated that price would use, price would always use that level based on these reasons. Okay, you see this candle also, this candle took liquidity below, broke. When price came, what happens? Reacted and bounced. Okay, so and never forget, no matter how strong your level is, if price wants to break it, price will break it. All right, guys, see you in the next one.